we all usually feel very safe in here, but I feel especially safe right now with these fine officers here that are with us for this event. I want to welcome each and every one of you for being here this afternoon. Thank you, Brownsville police officers, for taking time out, civilians, and of course our fellow officers from across from the Upper Valley and the Mid Valley that have come to spend some time with us this afternoon as we pay tribute to Canine Magnum. As you all know, we lost Magnum recently after an illness and during surgery. Magnum, of course, with his handler, Officer Marco Huerta, has spent 5 years together, 5 years where they've really bonded and worked tremendously hard in the common good in their law enforcement efforts here in Brownsville. It is now my pleasure to introduce Officer Marco Huerta to come say a few words.
Good afternoon. Before I start, I want to acknowledge the people that make this possible, starting off with Chief Orlando Vegas, along with his staff, Yesenia and co-workers. Everybody, thank you. Command staff were able to allow us to have this as well. All my friends from across the valley, canine partners that I train with and work with on a daily basis. Thank you for coming. It means a lot. Surrounding agencies that we assist, thank you for coming. Feds, the DEA, U.S. Customs, ICE, FAST team, everybody, thank you for being here. Dr. Maza, I don't know if he was able to make it. I know he's a busy man, but he was a big part in Canine Magnum's life. He and I were the last ones, along with Officer Shacklin, to see Canine Magnum for his last day. And we tried feverishly that day, do the best we could to get Magnum well, but unfortunately, the sickness got him and took us from him. All the staff from 911, pet doctor in McAllen, Texas, who are also there that day, who assisted us. I want to thank them. They were so professional with us and handling Magnum, and once Magnum was gone, they sincerely kept communication with me day by day, see how I was doing, and when Magnum was prepared to be brought home. So I want to tell them thank you very much. It's funny if we get so teary-eyed about a dog. It's always easy to say when I'm teaching these guys or a new handler that they are a dog, and that we need to remember that when we are working, and that they are there to protect us so we won't get hurt. But as you spend time with them, they become more than a dog. They become part of your family. Most officers will agree that when faced with having to search a dark building for dangerous suspects, they feel a little safer when the canine unit drives up on the scene and the dog enters the building first. It is difficult to know how many officers have been saved from possible injury or death because of the dogs. Many times, just driving up in a canine vehicle is all that is needed to defuse a potentially hostile situation. Magnum and I spent the last 4.5 years together patrolling the streets of the city of Brownsville. Magnum was a 5-year-old German Shepherd from Holland who was trained in the detection of illegal narcotics and patrol work, and had been in the department since 2011. He was nationally certified to the National Narcotics Detector Dog Association as a police service dog. Some of his highlights included his assistance in the seizure of well over $1.5 million, over a ton of marijuana, several hundred pounds of cocaine, and methamphetamines, as well as locating many hidden compartments which were used to conceal illegal contraband. He was also instrumental in assisting patrol officers in tracking suspects, conduct area searches and building searches. He was a big part of doing school presentations and citizens police academies, demonstrating the job of a police dog. Magnum was a great dog. He was big, beautiful, black German Shepherd. He had a regal look, which is big head, ears, and large stature. He had his own personality. Most dogs are just dogs. But you know, sometimes you run into the ones that are somehow human as they are dogs. Magnum was best described as a one-person dog. And as tough as he was for other people to get close to, our relationship never wavered. Every morning, as I walked up to his kennel, Magnum would get excited, running in and out of his doghouse and bouncing off the kennel door, excited to go to work. Once the kennel door was open, he would jump up on me, wrap his paws around my waist, get his morning greeting, and pat from me, and storm straight towards the unit, ready to go to work. What can I say about a partner like that? He went beyond and a great partner and beyond loyal. He showed me more love, forgiveness, and understanding than any human had ever shown me. He was my shadow. Wherever I went, he was always near me, ready to defend and protect me and my fellow officers. He made me feel that I was more important to him and that he would risk his own life for me. That was his purpose in this world. What love, what commitment he had made for me. But in truth, it was the other way around. Magnum was like my son, my brother, and my best friend. He gave me a purpose as a police officer. He made my job so enjoyable and fulfilling. He could put fear into criminals' minds, but a smile on a child's face when we do school presentations. He made the job look so easy that I made more friends with Magnum by my side than any other time on this job. He made me feel as if we were movie stars and the city was our stage. Magnum was very intelligent and always learning something new. One thing he learned, he taught himself to slide the door that separated us in the unit. His way of showing me he wanted to be close to me. And while on patrol, he occasionally would stick his head through the door for an occasional ear rub or pat in the head. When you see such a powerful, intelligent dog so helpless as I did on his last day with me, it's heartbreaking and frustrating. Wishing you could do more for him as he has done for you. On July 23rd, 2014, at approximately 6:57 p.m., Canine Magnum's tour ended as he passed away during surgery due to heart complications. Magnum's departure from this world has left a void and emptiness that has taken some time to heal. As I patrol the city streets at times, I feel that he is with me, and sometimes I hear him in the back of my unit. Sometimes I look to see him, and he is there, but all I see is his empty kennel. Magnum's calling came early, and I know now that he is in a better place with no pain or suffering. Magnum may be gone, but in spirit, I know he'll still be here right by my side, as he always was, and watching over me. It was a great tour, my friend. And I was proud to say that I was your handler. You're a friend and you're a partner. As the wording and stripe on your urn, it says, until we meet again at the Rainbow Bridge. Rest well, my boy. May God bless you as you stand guard at the gates of heaven. Thank you.
You know, when before we think we bring up Michael, before in a minute, I just want to say to make a couple of comments. when Officer Huerta came and met with me, and we sat and we visited, we talked about the partnership. Every officer in this room, nobody started out as a K-9 officer, and you all had your buddy officers, you had your brother officers, those officers that you were close to, your pals. Every one of us had that one buddy officer that we were close to. Now, with these K-9 officers, they take it to another level because their buddies, their partners, they go home with them. They actually become part of the family. And we have to also recognize the families in this case, in these cases, and like in this case with Lupita. I know that in Magnum was to you, he was a pet. He wasn't a partner, but he was a family member, just like he was a family member to all of you and your family. So we thank you, the department thanks you, and Officer Huerta's fellow officers thank you for the sacrifices that all of you made in taking care of Magnum as a family member, because that's an important part of the K-9 program, that the K-9s are welcomed at home, and we know how they're screened. We have to make sure we find a good home for them. And like in all these cases, Magnum was no exception with Magnum. So I thank you also for the support that you gave Officer Huerta all these years. So I'd like to recognize Lupita and I'd like to at this point call up Michael Anthony Huerta, Officer Huerta's son.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'll be presenting a poem called Grieve's Not For Me. Grieve not for me, for it has been ordained that my journey here to be short. Grieve not for me, for my loyal presence will ever remain in your heart. I was sent to be a guardian for the guardians of law in blue, a fearless, noble protector with a bond that few can construe. With character unshakable and senses that were well heightened, I was sent to be a defender, so that your burden here would be lightened. Grieve not for me, for heavenly glue, our reunion day will come. Grieve not for me, for as partners again, we will defend a greater kingdom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate those kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this ceremony, I know it's a very difficult time for Officer Huerta and other officers that have been through the same situation. And I know that the officers today, this afternoon, that have their K-9 partners, there's that special bond amongst K-9s, and we continue to always pray for you and hope for the best for you to be out there and be safe. But at the same time that we have this sense of sadness over us because of the loss of Magnum, we also talk about his legacy and the great things that he did. And so we celebrate him and recognize him. And as we see his portrait there, proudly with his handler, I'd like to, at this moment, ask all of you to pay tribute by a round of applause to Officer Magnum. Once again, thank you all for taking the time to be here this afternoon. Please spend some time and meet with Officer Huerta and his family. And as we exit the roll call room with the K-9s again, I just ask that you please keep a safe distance as the K-9s and their handlers exit the room. Thank you very much. Again, everybody, thank you very much for coming this afternoon. Thank you.